region. To avoid the winner taking it all trend, Chege further insisted that the memorandum will be seeking office of the official opposition leader who will be keeping the government of the day in check.
The dialogue, though we were not given an opportunity to be on the table as a Jubilee party, we are grateful because when we met in February 10th in Nakuru, one of the things that we said as a party is that we are supporting dialogue and we cannot use criminal ways, we cannot use blackmail to ask for peace in this country or dialogue. So we are happy that the two excellencies, His Excellency the President and Raila Amolo Odinga, have actually had given a team some work to do.
Kwa pare na ni mambo ngapi? 3. 1, minimum guarantee returns ya our products. 2, mambo yetu ya kusema eliminations and boundaries commissions kama tujawekewa pale hatuko kwa hiyo kwa bipartisan. Na mambo ya 3 ni mambo ya minimum guarantee returns, na mambo ya 3 ni ya minimum guarantee returns na boundary commissions and one man one vote one sharing. Hiyo mambo 3 kama iko pale, sisi we are not part and parcel of a bipartisan.
BBI is getting revived, and it appears some selective items or articles within the BBI are the ones that have actually been taken very keen, unlike the things that actually affect an ordinary man's life. Coffee, go to tea, go to cocoa, go to pyrethrum for those people who are in those areas that always do those. Some of these are the major economy moving items in this country, because most of the farmers down there, they have educated their kids, they are doing their small businesses out of the profits they get out of it. If this one does not become the main item of concern for the national government and the leadership that is actually led by His Excellency Dr. William Ruto.
Now, Malindi Member of Parliament Amina Mnyazi has asked Kenya Kwanza government to respect the dialogue committee, which will lead the ongoing bipartisan talks. Mnyazi says the technical team was formed and approved and was important to ensure the talks have binding resolutions.
Watu wote wa dini, kina baba, labda yuko miongoni mwetu.
Kama mulivyoona saizi mazungumzo yameanza kupamba moto, na kama mnafuatilizia katika bunge la kitaifa hivi juzi tuliweza kuipitisha, kuidhinisha na kuiweka sawasawa ile jopo la mazungumzo, na umuhimu wa kufanya jambo hili ni kuhakikisha kwamba yale mazungumzo na zile suluhisho ambazo zinatoka ama zinazungumzwa katika lile jopo yasiwe ni mazungumzo peke yake, yawe ni mazungumzo ambayo yako na uzito, na uzito ni kwamba lazima lile jopo litambulike. Likishatambulika sasa ndio yale ambayo yatakuwa yameongelewa kule, tutakuwa tuko na mandate, tuko na nguvu sasa ya kuweza kutekeleza mambo kadhaa. So imani yangu kubwa ni kwamba mazungumzo yatakwenda kwa mazuri. Sisi kama viongozi wa kutoka kwa Azimio tumekwenda katika mazungumzo na mikono misafi na roho safi, na niko na imani pia wale wenzetu waki-extend the same, basi tunaweza kusaidiana kwa mambo mengi.
Now, National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula has called for respect for foreign diplomats in the country for enhancement of international ties. Speaking in Webuye West constituency, Bungoma County, during a funds drive exercise, Wetangula condemned opposition leader Raila Odinga's attack on US Ambassador Meg Whitman. The speaker said diplomats played a key role in international collaboration that Kenya has greatly benefited from and should be respected. He cautioned politicians against use of abusive language on diplomats that could deter potential investors and undermine the country's image.
Na wengine wanaanza sasa, vile balozi amesema, mimi niliangalia, nilikuwa Bomas, niliona kule ilikuwa sawa, wamesema wewe ni mkatili. You can't have your cake and eat it. Lazima tuwe na heshima. Kesho mtakimbia kwa ule ubalozi kuomba visa kwenda Amerika au kwenda Ulaya, na waomba viongozi wa vyeo mbalimbali Kenya hii respect the diplomatic representation in our country, because those ambassadors represent the heads of state and the people of their country, because we have bilateral links and we respect each other as mutual friends. Let's not start insulting our visitors, our guests, and our friends because of selfish reason.
Meanwhile, Minority Leader in the National Assembly, Opiyo Wandayi, has castigated the manner in which the Kenya Kwanza government is distributing fertilizer and development projects in the Nyanza region. The Ugunja legislator said that the manner in which the government was distributing fertilizers in Luo Nyanza was discriminating and a letdown to the economic status of the farmers in the region. He said the subsidized fertilizer is yet to be distributed to all registered farmers, but many farmers in the region who have registered have cried of being frustrated with the system failures and NCPB depots in the region. At the same time, the Ugunja legislator said that the advertised road projects earmarked for repair and fresh tarmacking and development, none of them is in the Nyanza region. He wondered how the government was isolating the Nyanza region in terms of development, terming it as a letdown in the manner to the taxpayers from the region who deserve equal share of the national cake. On bipartisan talks, he said Azimio wants the cost of living to come down so that the common person can afford food for their families.
And you had Rigathi Gachagua say in Nakuru that our farmers here did not register. During the registration time, they were demonstrating. That is an insult. It's a serious insult. And he needs to withdraw those remarks. Because even those farmers who are registered here have not been able to access the fertilizer. And there are many. And the short rains are here. What is worrying is that other parts of the country, the fertilizer is being distributed to farmers. So what is this discrimination about? Okay? So we want them to release the fertilizer to our farmers, those who are registered, and those who are yet to be registered, let the government register them. There's still time to have them registered and be supplied with this fertilizer before the rains subside. Because in this place, order is relevant. Hapa Nyatike, hapa Migori, order is relevant. Those few fellas, wakina Nyanga, kina who are running around here. There's a former MCA here, yeah, who used to be our friend. All those few fellas who are running around here don't represent anybody.
Now, from matters development in the Nyanza region to insecurity in Central, police in Murang'a have arrested a notorious criminal said to have been terrorizing residents in Mbiri, Kiharu. For the past few months, the suspect, Samuel Mwangi Maina, is said to harass the residents while carrying an axe as a threatening weapon before carrying out robbery. Now, according to Murang'a County Police Commander David Kainga, the suspect has positively been identified by the victims who he attacked in their homes on different dates. He has urged the residents to report any criminal activities in the area, while maintaining that the drugs crackdown in Murang'a will be maintained as it appears to propel crimes.
This notorious criminal has been involved in committing serious crimes like robberies, and he has been applying strategies like carrying petrol and an axe. Whenever he approaches an homestead, he smashes the window panes, and eventually splashes the petrol into those houses. So after doing that, he issues some threats to those people therein that if they raise an alarm, is going to put the houses ablaze. I would also like to say that we have endeavored to make sure that the crackdown of illicit brews, drugs and contrabands continues. This has been sustained for the last 4 months, and we are continuing. We are not relenting at all.
All right, now traders at the new Pumwani Road Market are putting Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja on notice as they raise an alarm over a plot to build new stalls at the market and give them to strangers. The traders have urged Governor Sakaja to investigate officials at the Trade Department involved in the corruption by Monday next week. The traders further want an assurance from the Nairobi County Government that a deal signed between themselves and the county government will be upheld and that they should be prioritized in the newly constructed stalls.
Wamama hapa mheshimiwa wamelala hapa mwezi mzima. Wako na watoto. Yes. Wako na wajukuu. Na wote wanakuja kulala na hapa. Wakiangalia mali yao isiende na wanyakuaji.
Mimi nilianza hapa 1996. Nimekuwa hapa, watoto nimelea. Saa hii hata niko na wengine mayatima, endelea kuwalea, kuwalea hapa. Sasa nikisikia kweli ati tutahama, tutaondolewa hapa na watu ambao hawajali maisha ya watu wengine, hata watoto, tulikuwa na huzuni.
Tumekuwa tukilala kwa hii soko kwa muda wa more than a month hapa tukilala nje, kiasi ya kwamba tunashindwa kufanya kazi juu usiku tunalala nje. Sasa maombi yangu na maombi ya wafanyikazi, tunaomba hivi, Mheshimiwa Mwogo achukue viongozi wetu wenye wanatuongoza awapeleke kwa ofisi ya governor Sakaja, kwa maana all these night grabbers wanakuja usiku wakiwa na barua za kusema wametoka kwa governor.
Kidete, to say not corruption. No corruption. To say not corruption. Kweli? Mtu akipewa pesa kidogo hapo akuja vurugu watu wetu, tutasimama na nyinyi na tutasema hapana. Na that's why tuko hapa kwa hii ground leo. Tunasema hakuna containers zitekelewa hapa New Pumwani Road, watu watafute barua nyingine. Tayari tuko na barua ya development ya hapa. County inafaa ijengee watu stalls wapi? Hapa. Wacha kwa bando niyo plan, ujifanya sasa unataka kupatia watu weke sijui nini. Hiyo hatutakubali.
Now, AIPCK Church has petitioned the Ministry of Education to recall the books in the market which are campaigning for comprehensive sex education (CSE) in basic education under the new competence-based curriculum (CBC) in a section of grade 7 books with claims that the content will corrupt moral values of the Kenyan society. Archbishop David Gatimo has called upon the Ministry of Education to move with speed and withdraw the said books. Speaking in Kiambu County, he has insisted that the sex education content should be abolished because the pupils are underage.
Sababu umri wao bado ni mdogo, lakini wakati watakuwa sasa wameanza komaa, wakiingia katika kidato cha the secondary school, wataanza sasa ile ya juu. Wacha saa hii junior, wakati wataanza kuchukua wamekomaa, wakianza kufundishwa watakuwa na uamuzi mzuri. Lakini saa hii wakianza kufundishwa wakati huu, wataanza kuingiza katika vishawishi vya kujaribu na kuanza kujua hii mambo inaenda namna gani. Kwa hivyo utakuta ya kwamba tutakuwa na sasa na hizi vitu ya pregnancies nyingi ambazo itafanya hata watapata mimba ambayo itawafanya hata wakose kuendelea na masomo na watakosa watoto kuwa watoto hata wana nidhamu.
Pendekeza hii masomo ianzie kutoka shule ya upili, kutoka darasa la pili, ama ikianziwa mapema kwa sababu wanaenda grade 6, 7 mpaka 9, at least waanziwe wakianzia high school life, ili hao watoto fikira zao zitakuwa zimekomaa. Na wakati fikira ya mtu imekomaa, unakuja kukata shauri yako. Hata ukifundishwa hii, uamuzi ni wako, utaamua kama hii naweza fanya ama hii siwezi fanya.
Now, can you recall the last time you saw a street child or family in any health facility in the country? I doubt anyone or just a few can recall that. It is no doubt that the street children often encounter difficulties in receiving assistance from public health centers and hospitals because these facilities are usually overcrowded and are likewise unable to provide free medical services. But in Mathare area here in Nairobi, a clinic is changing this narrative as some street children and families can now get access to health services for free. Our reporter Elizabeth Atieno visited the health facility and filed this report.
4 kilometers from Nairobi's central business district is the famous Mathare slum. Just like many informal settlements in the country, Mathare is equally characterized by unsafe and overcrowded housing, elevated exposure, environmental hazards, and not forgetting the high prevalence rate of diseases which affect the 500,000 people residing in this informal settlement. Many a times we tend to forget a very important population in terms of health service delivery. The over 300,000 street families in the country, of which 60,000 live right here in Kenya's capital, Nairobi. What's more shocking and worrying is that when you visit any health facility in the country, you rarely catch a glimpse of any member of the street family accessing medical services. Many Kenyans have since assumed that they do not fall ill, a misconception debunked by the AIDS Healthcare Foundation facility in Mathare.
The actual turning point was actually in 2015 when we actually diagnosed multi-drug resistant TB from a street person, and that was alarming for us because we were like, by the time we get to diagnose him, and he wasn't even from a nearby base, he had actually come from a base in town, those sides of Muthurwa. So we were imagining what is the population of persons he's been in contact with.
When we visit this clinic, we find tens of street children and families seated on the waiting bench, ready to access a variety of medical services, including testing for HIV, STIs, and tuberculosis. But first things first, they need to take a warm bath, a luxury they get to enjoy once they visit this facility early in the morning. And that's not all. They also sip at least a cup or two of a well-prepared and nutritious porridge.
Nilianza kukuja wakati nilikuwa nasumbuliwa na kifua nikihala. I have more than 5 months. Nikiingia hapa, huduma hapa nimeiona iko salama.
I come here weekly to take a shower and refresh myself and get new clothes.
Changamoto hakuna juu chakula iko tu free. Choo ni bure, kila kitu ni bure hapa. Hakuna kitu unalisha ushuru.
Kama uji hajakunywa asubuhi kukunywa na maji na tabika. Sasa vile napatanga hizi uji anakuwa sawa. Sasa shida ile iko, dawa amepata iko sawa, matibabu iko mzuri. Shida ile konaye mali ya kulala tu ya kulala.
When they take the medication on an empty stomach, actually gives them a nauseating feeling. For the TB patients, there is what the government provides called the ready-to-use therapeutic feeds, the Plumpy-Nut. So again, this is a high nutrient diet that they mix with the porridge. At least they're able to heal better, quickly, gain weight.
And as they sip their porridge, this group of young and fairly old men narrate to us how they found themselves on the streets.
Nilikuanga driver wa trailer. Nilikuanga naenda Kitengela, napakiwa mzigo naenda mpaka Sudan. Natoka Sudan, nakuja napakiwa ingine, naenda hadi Lamu au Malindi. Lakini siku hizi huanga nafutangulia. Hakuna mwenye nakuanga na haja na maisha yangu.
I went to school, of course, but something happened. I was sacked. Yeah, and I was sacked because of alcohol. That's what I can say. We don't like the way we live. I do feel bad about that.
At the TB testing center, a section of street families are getting their services, including blood tests and the recommended drugs. According to doctors, street children are at the higher risk of contracting TB considering they live together.
But over time, we developed what we call a peer-to-peer defaulter tracing mechanism using the same people that they live with. So once we enroll them into our service, then we ensure that we know the actual base and we have like 2-3 people from your base that we know.
At the HIV testing center, we find this young man, also a member of the street family, glued on his seat as he gets educated about HIV and AIDS and how he can protect himself and his street family from acquiring the virus, whose positivity rate currently stands at 1.4 million, according to the National Syndemic Disease Control Council.
From 2013, the clinic had about 1,600 HIV positive clients who are seeking care. And today we are at 2,600 active clients.
Bado daktari ananiambia bado wananipatia dawa, that is all. At least nasikia niko afadhali sasa.
It's not only street families here in Mathare that benefit from the free medical services. Those residing in the streets of Kiambio and Shauri Moyo have not been left out.
First time we did that was in 2018. We had 3 boys come over and ask if we could offer them the circumcision service. So we were like, why not? So we offered them the service, and we also did the post-surgery follow-up just to ensure that they got healed.
And as the sun sets, a ray of hope lights up the lives of these street children who are now assured of a healthy life as they wish that their fellows scattered across the country can also get access to health services without any form of discrimination and most especially stigma from the society.
This clinic is a safe haven to tens of street families who have since benefited from a variety of services ranging from HIV testing, tuberculosis, STIs, and not forgetting the food program. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47 from Mathare.